Have a look at this inexpensive solar power generator created in China, purchased from Amazon. While I talk about the 5 C's, this is me, Meta. How you doing? And I just have to make content because it's the only thing that will keep me sane right now. Okay, so 5 C's. How do you remember? You keep forgetting one step. You can't remember the order. It's very simple. This is what I do. Because we tend to forget one piece of a puzzle or the last thing to complete it. It's just a human thing. So, you imagine yourself walking in the woods. It's very intuitive to think this way. Once you figure this out, it's like an algorithm, and you just follow your own formula and it figures itself out. And you just follow your own cues, and then the information presents itself the same way every time. So you're walking in the woods. What's the first thing you need? You need the 5 C's. It's going to rain, you're hungry, you're tired, you're thirsty, and you're getting cold. You want to lay down, go to sleep, or at least relax underneath something in the woods because it's going to rain and you're going to be cold. So you need a heat source, you need something to eat, something to drink. That's about it. How do you do that? The first thing, just picture this scenario. You need something over you, so that's your first C, is cover. You have a tarp or something. How is it suspended up in the air? Here's your next thought. You just think this way. You're walking, I need something over me to keep me dry and warm. I'm going to lay down, go to sleep. Okay, cover, that's obvious. You're making every step obvious according to your algorithmic thinking, right? If this, then this. It's very obvious. If these things are done, we just need this. We'll get to the fifth one real easy. So how is the cover being suspended? You need some kind of cordage, your second C, cordage. So you have cover and cordage. That's extremely obvious. We're making every step just as obvious. All right. So you might need to cut some of the lines. You might need to cut a stick to hang things, or cook with it, hang your pot, something like that, make a tripod. There's 100 million things. You might want to make a little chair, a raised bed. You might just need to whatever, cut some branches, some vines, make some firewood, tinder. The list goes on and on and on. You can survive in the woods with a blade alone. There's a good book called Hatchet, and this young kid who doesn't know anything about wilderness survival, the plane crashes. He's the only survivor. He's out in the remote wilderness, and he has to survive, and all he could find was a hatchet. And intuitively, he figured out how to use that thing to handle every aspect of his life. Anyway, so that's, you always know that. Your cutting tool and something to be inside of, over you, is your most important thing. And you have to eat and drink. Stay warm, stay dry, you eat food, you drink water. And then your blade is your main tool. You against the world. Nature, the environment. You're part of nature. You're in it. And nature has many creatures with sharp things attached to their body. Those sharp things want to penetrate your skin, and then they want to eat and consume your flesh. Everything in the world wants to eat you and consume you. If you stood naked in a forest for long enough, eventually you'd pass out, fall over, and be completely consumed to the point where there's only bones. That's why you need to cover yourself with the first C. You need cordage, the second C, to do that. And you need some kind of cutting tool, which also can be used as self-defense. But you're defending yourself against the world. Why don't wild animals just run into your house or run at you as a person? You have your house, a structure that man created within the natural habitat, and it pushed those other creatures back and farther away. You have something, the final barrier, enclosing you in a safe area, a solid structure. If something falls out of the air, somebody throws an object, or rain happens, you're protected from the wind, the sun. That's why you need the cordage, or the cover, the cordage, and a cutting tool to be able to create those things. The modern equivalent would be hammer and nails, other power tools to create more solid, sturdy structures. But with just a cutting tool, you can create an entire structure. You can create poles, you could create supports, you can create beds, tables, chairs, whatever. Make your fire, sustain your life as a human being. That's the point. So you have your cover, your first C, your cordage, and your cutting tool. Those three you should be able to memorize this by now. It's like, I'm in the woods, I need something over me. Okay, yeah, the first C, that's right, cover. How is it over me? It's not just floating there. Oh yeah, the second C, cordage. How did I cut the cordage? How am I making these poles? Oh yeah, the third C, cutting. See? Very easy. Now you're like, well, the next thing I'm going to want to do is just sit down and drink some water and eat some food and be warm. How do I do that? Well, okay, I would need a container. That's, oh yeah, the fourth C. Something to contain my food and water. I can get the water, put it in there, boil it, drink it, cook my food, whatever food I have in there. Okay? And you're like, well, how am I going to do that though? Oh, that's right. The fifth C has to be combustion. I need a fire. Right? So there you go. That's the whole thing. You're walking. You need some cover, the first C. Then you need something to suspend it, the cordage. Then you need something to cut things. So that's your third C, cutting. You need something to have your food and water because you're hungry and thirsty. Oh, my fourth C has to be container. And then you're like, how am I going to make a fire? Oh yeah, my fifth C, combustion. Just thinking about that in that way that I just explained should make it impossible to ever forget that. If I can remember those things, you can remember those things each and every single time, without fail, 100%. Cover, cordage, cutting, container, combustion. Very simple. Something over you, something to hold it up, something to cut things, something to hold your water and food, and some way to make fire so that you can lay down and be comfortable and warm and as protected as possible. And that's how you remember the 5 C's with an algorithmic thinking, intuitive formula. And there you go. This is me, Meta. And I hope you have a good day and stay safe out there. Bye.